Everyone, and welcome to ZK AV Club Foundry number 7. I'm super excited about this month's Foundry. We're going to be talking about audio, recording audio, and post-processing audio, and what you can do to make the audio the best that it can be for all of your videos, because it's super important. So the name of our session today is the importance of audio in your video content. And first, I want to say a big thank you to the Zcash Community Grants Program, who was the first sponsor of ZK AV Club Foundry, started the series with that funding, and is taking us through this year. So big thank you to Zcash Community Grants and to Zcash in general. It's an amazing privacy cryptocurrency that you should look into. But I'm no shill. That's not what we're here to do. So today's session of Foundry, we're producing it with Video Ninja is where we're meeting, and it's being live streamed via Robmod onto YouTube. And I'm super excited about how this is set up. Using Video Ninja is really cool experience. It's all open source. It's peer-to-peer between the people on the call, and then the streaming off to YouTube is obviously centralized and not open source, but we're working on that part of it too. Quick 30-second overview of what you can expect today. We'll cover some ZK AV Club news and updates, talk about latest workshops, some new content that we are starting to release for you all. We have community-led workshop announcements, really exciting news there, and then we'll get into a panel discussion about audio quality, audio production, what you can do to improve the quality of your recordings, specifically using Audacity, because we are all about open source software here, and Audacity is actually the leader in audio post-processing, audio editing, and it's open source. So one of those rare instances where the industry-leading tool is actually open source. Of course, Open Broadcaster, OBS, is the other one. Makes it really handy when you're looking for information about this stuff. So a lot of what we're talking about today is available online in various formats. On YouTube or ChatGPT, you can find a lot of help and information about what we're talking about, because Audacity is so popular. So big win for mainstream open source software. Then we'll have a ZecHub segment, which is a new segment we're trying out, and we're going to carry it through in the year, where ZecHub will talk about different Zcash tools that can be used to communicate, and what is ZecHub, what is the Zcash Dashboard that they offer, and other tools that they have too, other features that they have of their ecosystem. The shielded ecosystem. So then we'll have a workshops, a call to action, and some closing thoughts. So that was probably more than 30 seconds, but we're getting used to this whole outline thing and pre-production. It's sort of new to me. So you can find these show notes that I'm showing on the screen now in the YouTube description. Also, I posted them in the Zcash Global Discord. So let us know if anything is... it says there's an echo. I'm looking at the chat in YouTube. Let us know if anything's wrong or broken. Is it still like that, Zero Darts? It says left ear is more loud than the right. Let us know what's going on with that. We can also monitor the Discord chat in Zcash Global. So thank you everyone for joining us. And let's see, we can jump right in. We've talked about this stuff in the introduction, so we can jump right into news and updates. The workshops is the big thing, I think. It's really an exciting thing for many people. The AV Club team and the people in the Zcash community who have the ambassadors of Zcash community, leaders of Zcash communities, have already shown interest in getting their communities involved and creating workshops to teach open source audiovisual content creation tools. So Roosevelt, I have you to thank for a lot of this content. You and Aura have been working really hard to help me create the guidelines and the announcements. And the idea of the workshops came from Roosevelt, Aura, and Rabmar, who are part of the ZK AV Club Foundry team and also part of Zcash en Español. So Roosevelt, how are you? First of all, let's start there. How are you doing today?
Hello, I'm very excited. Thank you for being here. I'm happy to talk about audio and the workshops.
Cool. Let's start with the workshops. What do you think, what's most exciting about this announcement that we just made this week?
Is very exciting because I think Ryan and all the viewers that this is an opportunity. We talk about this in another sessions. This is an opportunity for community members be part of and to show that you're learning with the ZCAV club and to share what you know. If you learn something, if you know something that you think is valuable to the community, and you want to share with the community and with us, uh, just join us. And I think it's a great opportunity. Not only for earn some money, that is important, but I think that the power of the community and the workshop is a great opportunity.
It definitely is. I'm really excited about this new development. I think it's a real powerful thing, not just for growing the ZKAV club, but it's a powerful thing for the people who participate with us in this. It's powerful for them in the sense that when you teach something, you really learn a lot more about it. I've discovered this and been told this. I think it's a well-known thing, and I can really feel it happening in this opportunity. So it is a great opportunity for people to expand their own skills, and it's essentially teaching of these skills and these tools to your own communities, so you're able to empower others and grow your own communities. We are asking that people do this in their native language, in whatever language they prefer. And the point is to do it for their communities, not necessarily for us, for the ZKAV Club Foundry team. We will be working very closely together, and we'll be promoting this a lot more in the next week. We have some good promotional ideas that Roosevelt has come up with to promote this in the next week and beyond. So stay tuned for more on the workshops. And recent workshops that we've had, just real quick, recent workshops that we've had did cover the Net Archive command line interface. That was a workshop that I did with Tommy from DWeb. And we use the Internet Archive for a lot of archiving content. We're going to be using it more and more. And we'll have more workshops having to do with Internet Archive in the near future. Zcash Brazil, Yogi did a really great workshop on video editing basics. This was one of our first workshops before we did this big announcement. So it does show non-open source tools, but this is where after this announcement, we're going to be making open source tools a requirement for this. There will be some exceptions, but more on that later. So you can check out the links to the Internet Archive command line interface workshop and the Zcash Brazil video editing basics workshop in the overview document. We also have new content that has just been released from Berlin Blockchain Week. And I was going to show one of these clips. I guess we could show one of these clips. We've got time. And then I also have a clip from the ZECC Zcash Summit in Prague that was just released by the Zashi wallet profile on X. So let's see if we can switch over to this, share this tab instead. Now on my screen with audio, we should have, does that work? You'll have to let me know if this works. It's very quiet, but you can go to archive.org, search for Zero Knowledge Audiovisual Club. The link to this is also, of course, in this overview document. And this is Ann Brody and I sitting down at DAppCon during Berlin Blockchain Week at our recording station that we had. It was an amazing experience, and we recorded 28 different conversations plus one behind the scenes interview and several sessions, many sessions during the Decentralized Media Summit. And we recorded tons and tons of footage. So we're just starting to release a lot of it. Starting with this, we have a process of uploading things to Internet Archive, and then we'll clean them up, do some of this audio, cleanup that we'll be talking about today, and a little bit of video editing, and we'll put these on YouTube. So it's all part of the process. They go on Internet Archive first, and this one's really quiet. So I think that matching levels. Ryan's mic is double the power now. Oh, I think I know why. Okay, so I'm going to stop doing that. Maybe it's from my screen share, Rabmar. I wonder if the audio is coming from my camera and from the screen share in OBS. Okay,
This is a live exercise. This is a live exercise to learn what happened with the audio.
In my audio is good.
Yeah.
I hear in YouTube it's very slow.
It's very low. Hear the video a bit. Okay, so you could hear the video a bit. My audio is louder. So I just wanted to show, we're gonna keep going. Rabmar, maybe put the audio inputs up without blasting mine out. I can turn mine down if we need to also. There's a delay. Zero Dart said now the sound is good. So there's a delay also between what we're hearing in Video Ninja and what's going out to YouTube. It's usually around a minute. So this troubleshooting is going to be just a little bit clunky, but it's the ZK AV Club. We're here to mess around and try not to break things, but yeah, troubleshooting's half the fun. So moving on, we just released that Berlin Blockchain Week interview with Ann Brody. It's on archive.org. More of those videos will be going onto archive.org, and after processing, a little bit of processing, they will be going onto our YouTube channel. So stay tuned for that. Now I have the Zashi app video here, and let's see if what this one does when I play it. Share this tab.
Each thing is slow. We usually have iterations over it. We get it in hands of internal people first, then some beta testers, for example. We collect the feedback. We ask users even upfront. So we really are 100% focused on this. We really need to make it right. So next evolution of Zashi is pretty much going to be about the same. I think like Zashi 2.0 was the start of this because we found really great people from the product point of view who are really experienced in this area, and those help us, to actually go in the right direction. So Zashi 2.0 is I think 2-3 months ago was the great start, and we won't stop doing this exactly. Research, get the real feedback from users, and then shape the product so it works and it's seamless.
That was our recording station that was deployed at ZECC, the Zcash Summit in Prague. I hope that you all had audio on that. Let me know in the chat, okay, if that audio didn't work or if it did, whatever. Just talk to us in the chat. It's a good time, I promise. So those are new. That's new content that we're coming out with. There's a lot more content from the ZECC Zcash Summit in Prague as well. I wasn't able to be there, but the team went and recorded a ton of interview content there. So that will also start coming out on the Zashi and Zcash profiles, and we'll start releasing it all in the same process of putting it on Internet Archive and putting it up on the ZK AV Club YouTube soon. In the next, it'll start coming out over the next months. It's a lot of stuff. We also have the DWeb Cascadia camp, which John just went to. John Bruling was just there and represented ZK AV Club pretty hard, going with a bunch of equipment, everything. So thank you, John. And you want to tell us what you did there and how it all went?
Went to DWeb Cascadia camp, like Ryan said, and I took a bunch of my cameras and my microphones and my audio recorder, and I ended up recording a bunch of the talks that they plan out usually during these camps, that are about people's ideas or projects or you know, whatever else that it is that they want to talk about. And yeah, I ended up like recording them and subsequently going through like the video and doing audio cleanup on them and so forth, like, you know, like what we're here talking about. And yeah, I mean, it's a tedious process, like actually going through audio in Audacity, you know, it can take a long time, like depending on if there's a lot, you know, that you actually want to do, you know, like how far that you want to take your, you know, cleanup and you know, everything like that. It could take, you know, but like recording songs and stuff, you know, they like spend months, you know, like mastering like recordings and things like that. So, you know, like obviously with these, you know, it won't be quite so much. It's just kind of like removing some of the loud pops and like some serious like wind noise, like that can opening right there. There would be something that I
You still
might
there, John?
want. Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think you cut out just for a second.
Okay.
But I definitely hear what you're talking about, where like this can be a tedious process depending on like your source recording and removing stuff.
Yeah,
Depends
I
on
was
how perfect
outside,
you
you
want
know,
to
and, yeah, there was wind, you know, there were like noises like that, like planes flying over, cars driving by, and so, yeah, like some of them are a little bit better than others, but yeah, it's just, you know, going through and either removing like those bad spots or making them very, very, very quiet, you know, for just maybe that instance, you know, during the clap or during, you know, cough or, you know, whatever it is that you are trying to remove. And then also trying to equalize volumes. Like if you have people maybe facing different directions or in different, you know, sort of far away, like some people will be louder than others. And while, you know, maybe the other person is talking, try to take that section and like, you know, amplify it a little bit more, you know, and stuff like that. In the end, like, yeah, I'm focusing on the audio because like the videos like did come out good, but there's like a lot of like extra campers sort of just like hanging out and like eating food and stretching out on the carpet. Like, you know, during the talk, it was very relaxed and very, you know, kind of, you know, like they were doing yoga and stuff there in the mornings. It's, you know, it's kind of like that.
camp vibes.
Yeah, definitely. And so, you know, that was cool, you know, but also, you know, maybe not posting that publicly, you know, like the videos of, you know, the long form of them just doing that. I thought about maybe cropping, you know, some of the shots, you know, I thought that would work. And like was mentioned, using some kind of like blurring, like how here on my screen everything is blurred, you know, maybe something like that. It might apply to like a couple of them, but some of them, like I wasn't really focusing on like getting, you know, like there was a stage and there's people sitting and stuff, like there was that. In some cases it wasn't the case. It was like people scattered around on tables and things. And so yeah, like so ubiquitously just audio only, like for those things.
Gotcha.
And I'll take some like still frames from the videos, like some nice pictures, you know. But yeah, that's like something I am working on currently.
Cool.
I'm not
I look forward to
exactly
seeing
sure.
it.
Yeah, I'm not sure how far through I am. I'm maybe like halfway-ish or something like that. But I'll share these with the campers, like on the Discord thread where there was the DWeb camp thread, like in a Proton drive or something like that, you know, to let them check it out, and then post that publicly, you know, if anything,
Nice.
if nobody has any objections, you know. So that's the plan.
Awesome. That's really interesting about like the background noise as far as visual background noise goes. And we'll be talking about background noise as far as audio goes, and a lot of like what you're talking about, John. We'll dig into that during our main conversation here in a minute. But the background noise is for like visual background noise, and how to shoot video and pictures, images in general during events is a really interesting topic to me. We've got a colleague who is an event photographer here in Berlin who we got to kind of collide with at Protocolberg, and I'm thinking about seeing if Anton wants to join us, and we can have a conversation about doing event photography and videography like he does. And we can also talk about some of these issues of shooting at recording stations at live events, and having people in the background, because it is really interesting, especially on a privacy front. But we're running a little bit over time already, so I'm going to move along into a quick announcement about community-led workshops. We mentioned it already. It is officially open. The official announcement is in the Zcash community forum. You can go and check out the announcement there. There's a link in the full agenda and details document that's in the YouTube description and everywhere else. And the details and guidelines are on our website, zkav.club/workshops in English. And then if you add ES to the end, then you'll get Spanish. If you add PT to the end, you'll get Portuguese. So we've got that in 3 languages. I hope to add more. So if you're watching this and you want your community to be able to get in on this opportunity of creating workshops, we have a decent size of our grant from the Zcash community grants. The grant that we got for Foundry, a decent sized amount of it is dedicated to community projects, and it's specifically for this cause. So for doing the workshop, you'll get the workshops document translated into a language that your community that will support your community, then please let us know, and we can get that up on our website as well, and we'll share it around, and we'd be happy to collaborate with you. So on with the show. Let's see. Main topic for ZKAV Club Foundry number 7 is audio production. We already mentioned this. Audio production, audio post-production. Primarily using Audacity, but that's just for the post-production part. Once you have it recorded, then you can put it into Audacity. Now, there's other issues where that we're obviously seeing on the YouTube video here. There are issues that happen when you're broadcasting live or when you're recording. And this is why I usually tell people to live stream as a last resort. What we're actually doing is a live stream, so we have to live stream it, and we're playing with technology that we have barely used before. It's all new stuff. So there are going to be some challenges. And what we're seeing now with these echoes, what's actually happening is in Video Ninja, each of us is broadcasting our own audio and video signal. Robmar is taking it into OBS and creating scenes to broadcast out to YouTube. So he hasn't done this more than twice, I think. We're all new to this, and mapping the audio and the different scenes is a messy process sometimes. So he's learning how to do this without any of the bugs that are inherent in the system. So Andy's doing a great job, I should say. Like, a huge shout out to Robmar, who's always running our decks like a master. It's always fantastic. Thank you, Robmar. And it looks like our audio is all fixed up now. So we can talk a little bit about, like, let's start with microphones. Like, if we're talking about how to record, we're not talking about live streaming here. We're just talking about recording, and how you record. Like, it all starts with the microphone. So I know that Roosevelt has a lot of opinions on this, and difference between different kinds of microphones. So Roosevelt, you want to start us off with this microphone topic?
Yeah, I have several toys, like I said. Now you can see this is my official mic for these transmissions, podcast. But sometimes I use this mobile mix. Okay, you can create Instagram lives, for example, or even in Discord with this mix. It work fine. Okay, there's no problem. And if you have the budget enough to that, you can buy a brand like Rode, like another brand, Ryan, Ulanzi. I know
We've got a few of these. We were talking about Hollyland was another one.
Holyland is very powerful.
Yeah.
DJI, I have DJI too, and are very, very powerful. And the difference, maybe some people ask for what is the difference? Why use this mic, or why use this, or when? I think all have a good quality, but the difference is in the edition. If you use Rode or DJI or Holyland, you don't have to edit so much, because the audio is very, very, very clear and powerful. But if you use a mic that is cheaper, like this, you have a lot of work to do to empower the voice and to edition time. And I think this is the difference, but it's important to take care of the audio in all the transmission, live recording on all the times that we have to record something or say something.
Yeah, it definitely is. And there are these different options. Like you have right now, Roosevelt, you also have a headset on that has a microphone also. So you have like three microphones in your camera.
It's good, but in this time I don't have the audio here. This is a gamer, okay, toy, a gamer toy, but then I don't use this. It's a Red Dragon brand. Is a very powerful, a little expensive, but I don't use this mic. I use this. Is a old school brand. Is powerful, and I think it's better to me. But this, if I have to move with my laptop, I work with this. That's what I say, Ryan. That depends the situation, recording or broadcasting. You can use one toy or another.
Yeah, it just depends on what your needs are and what your environment is. The headset microphone is really nice because it's always right next to your mouth. And it's super important to always be really close to the microphone, no matter what kind of microphone you're using. If you have one of the little wireless the lavalier mics, like Roosevelt was holding up, really popular in the last year or two. They have the microphone and the receiver or the transmitter. It's all very small, compact. It comes in a little charging case, and you can get them for anywhere from 25 euros to like 800, depending on what you're looking for. I would imagine that the more expensive ones are not necessarily always the better ones. So paying attention to the good brands, the brands that are well known. Audio companies have been making microphones for a really long time, and the well-known brands like Samsung, Sennheiser, this DJI or Digi, as some people say, is a newer brand, I think, but they're really popular, and they're especially with their wireless stuff. So it depends on the environment for sure. And like if you're outdoors. So quick note about these lav mics, because I'm seeing them everywhere, and it seems to be, they're really portable. So it seems to be really popular for people who go to events, people who travel around, the nomad types. And they work really well, but not so well with background noise, because they're designed to pick up voice from a distance, and so they're designed to pick up more. The same thing with these USB live streamer mics, the microphones that all the live streamers recommend. This is an Elgato Wave 3, and there's a few others that the USB mics that are really popular, and I could go all the way back here, and chances are you can still hear me pretty well, which is good if I'm gaming, if I don't want my microphone in the shot. but it's so much better if I'm right next to it. You get a more richer sound in your voice. And really, like if you have any kind of background noise, because the microphone might pick me up when I'm further away, if there's background noise, it's gonna pick all of that up too. So a better choice for a noisy environment or outdoor environment is a handheld microphone. And like this is XLR, which is a standard production audio cable interface. And you need an actual mixer board for this to connect. You can't connect this directly to your computer. But you're going to want a recording device like a Zoom recorder or a Rodecaster when you're doing any kind of professional recording anyway. So I would definitely recommend getting this, an XLR handheld microphone. They're not super expensive. When you get into the wireless stuff, they become more expensive, but they do make wireless adapters for these, which are really handy. Definitely good to have. And that's like the main thing that you would use a handheld microphone for. I could even connect this and replace my USB microphone with this. It would probably sound a lot better. And if I moved away from this microphone, you wouldn't be able to hear me. So anytime that you're talking into a handheld microphone, always hold it pointed at your mouth and like a fist distance from your mouth. And that way you'll get a real crisp voice. Otherwise, you might not hear it at all. Mm-hmm.
Sure. Ryan, one tip. For example, I saw some YouTubers that don't have the budget and they make interviews. You can use all we have a mobile phone, okay? A mobile phone have decent mics or apps. There are a lot of apps to but you can use your mobile to interview people, and then you have to edit. It's a lot of work, but if you don't have the money to buy a professional mic, you can use your phone. It's better too.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like I always, and ZKAV Club, it often comes back to the phone that we have, because we all have phones now. A lot of people have phones and they don't have a computer to work with. So we're trying to keep that in mind. And, using a camera on a phone is definitely better than going out and buying a new camera. And I would say, like, think about your audio quality first. So if you only have your phone, then like maybe buy a microphone that you can plug into one of these little lav mics so that you can get it wireless, because the audio or the microphone in your phone isn't going to be very good. It's usually pretty garbage and you have to hold it really close. It might be kind of okay, but you would be impressed with how well a new microphone would work, and you get really better quality audio. And then think about getting a new camera. And until then, just use the camera on your phone also. Yeah, definitely a good tip. So I have a video to show here from our experience at Berlin Blockchain Week. Another video. This one's also from DAppCon. And if you noticed, I know the audio was quiet on the Ann Brody interview, but we actually we use these handheld microphones, and after doing some post-processing, we'll bring the levels up. You'll be able to hear her a lot better. And you'll also notice that the background noise is there, but it's not very pronounced. It's not very loud. And that's because we're using the handheld microphone. We tried to use the handheld microphone for all of the outdoor interviews, but we had one challenge that we wired up Victor Tron with some lav microphones, and we had our hosts with let's see, I can share the screen. We had our hosts wearing headsets so that they could hear Victor speaking. This is Victor Tron, who is the lead developer of Swarm on the Ethereum blockchain. And Swarm is a live streaming protocol. Really incredible stuff. So here I have a video of Squirrel from ZecHub and Ksenia from Octahedron interviewing Victor Tron outdoors at DAppCon, and Victor's got two microphones on him to pick up his voice, and you'll hear that they pick up a lot of background noise too. So I'll play that now.
only those having the key can decrypt the data, and the data itself has integrity. Even
And you can see, you can barely hear Victor speaking.
So the integrity is just
And the background noises, just everything. You can hear conversations almost. And the wind. And you might notice that Victor has on the lav mics that are on him, there's these little fluffy things. These are actually called squirrel tails, and they're designed to block the wind and to act as a pop filter. So a pop filter is like what I have here, this little screen. Sometimes it's more like a squishy little clown nose thing that's like John is swinging around right now. Roosevelt has the red one on his microphone. This helps with the p sound, the P's and the T's and these other sounds that are a lot of air going through in a harsh way. So a pop filter helps with that. Squirrel tail helps with that, and also helps with the wind when you're shooting outside. So if you're using a lav mic or two in this case, then you're going to want to have the squirrel tail on there, especially if you're outdoors. Now, we put this through to get to the meat of our conversation today. We put this through Audacity. I should say Robmar put this through Audacity, cleaned it up, and this is the same clip cleaned up with Audacity.
So having the key can decrypt the data, and the data itself has integrity even without knowing what is inside. So the integrity is just controlled by the hash rate influence of the curiosity content. And sources that. Actually, now if we're talking about metadata, it's kind of interesting maybe to talk a bit about another very interesting functionality of Sol, which is the communication layer. How you do internal communication, or how you might allow communicating. It might allow to just the Ethereum addresses to communicate.
So it's still very quiet, and we haven't published any of this yet. These are clips taken from the source recording with just cleaned up, because when we actually live streamed this, we live streamed it to Swarm, and we didn't live stream any of our recording station content except this one, because it was so important to us. Victor is a very important person in my mind as far as what he's building. And I wanted to play with this technology while trying to do this. So we did live stream it to Swarm, but we had wires running all over the place. These headset microphones that Ksenia and Squirrel were wearing, they were given to us at the last minute to be able to use so that they could hear Victor speaking. We had wires running from those over to the Rodecaster, and then the wireless mics on Victor with all the wind and everything and background noise. And then from the Rodecaster, the audio was going out into a laptop where we were also running the video signal out to, we were using the webcam on the laptop. That's right, and it was getting audio from the mixer. So the audio cable there ended up totally screwing up the Swarm stream, because we used an aux cable, just your regular auxiliary cable, and it was too long and it was garbage. And the stream that got on Swarm just sounded horrible. Like, it was what you heard plus a bunch of other static created by the cables and adapters and everything we were using between the Rodecaster and the laptop. So extra cables, like, tried to use minimum amount of adapters, extensions, all this extra stuff. It's going to make your audio much more difficult to work with. And any kind of background noise is not a bullet, it's not going to kill your product or your output. Like what we got here, what ended up on Swarm actually gave us reason to dig in and do this audio production stuff on the source material to see what we could rescue. And it didn't even turn out to be rescuing anything. All the data is there. So it was a very cool interview. I was really happy that we got it. And I'm really happy that we have this technology now to clean it up and make it really, really high quality, even when recorded at a live conference. So I thought that turned out really neat. And it's a cool example of what we can do. wireless microphone recommendations. We talked a little bit about like Hollyland, Ulanzi, DJI. I highly recommend Sennheiser. I use a lot of Sennheiser products for microphones, especially, but they are on the expensive side. I think if you're going to be investing money into your content creation, then audio is the first place to start. And then maybe lights even, it makes a big difference versus the camera, but definitely microphones. And then how you actually record this is also, it could be a factor. Like if we would have only been streaming that interview out to Swarm and not recording on the Rodecaster, which is the audio interface, the mixing board, if we weren't recording on that and we were only recording on the Swarm stream, then we would have been in a much more challenging position. I think that we got really, it wasn't luck that we were recording on the Rodecaster, but I was really happy, and I can say we got lucky that we had that. We were lucky that we had that. There's also the recording on OBS that we could have worked with, but always record in as many places as you can and get as many channels as you can. Rodecaster and the Zoom recorder, which is a small device about the size of your phone that has different microphone inputs. And both of these devices can record each microphone input as a separate file. And you want to record it as a WAV file with as little compression on the audio as possible. But this lets you really easily adjust the different levels in post-production. So if one person that's speaking is very quiet and the other is very loud, like I'm very loud and Brody was very quiet. So adjusting that using these two separate files is very, very easy in post-production. It's all about getting that initial recording correct.
Yeah, and the microphone to the noise reduction is not confiable. No, it's not true. The noise reduction and the prevention caution to the ambient and the noise to the atmosphere, to the alrededor in the person, to the no confiar, Roosevelt, no confiar, no.
Don't trust.
Don't trust to the noise reduction and the all microphones to the brand, no import. The noise reduction is confiable. No trust the noise reduction in the microphones. Lavaliers. Ojo, attention.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. I didn't even know that they had noise reduction in microphones. I don't like it when my computers or machines are doing things that I can't configure or turn on or off at the very least. So I would say, like, yeah, don't trust that. It's better to have a microphone without noise reduction on it and to get a noisy recording, because then you have all of the data that you can do stuff with. If you are turning on noise reduction on your microphone, it's not recording stuff sometimes. And that's worse than recording something that's not what you want, because you can fix that later. Fix it in post. That's what they always say.
So, like some of them, like you said, yeah, they've got it built in and it like automatically truncates like silence in the recording. So it'll be like talking and then it will drop like to the noise floor and then nothing until they start speaking again. And yeah, I think like in some cases, it's probably good for people, like if they're not going to do post-production, like maybe if they are doing it live, like streaming live, and they want the noise reduction like right then and there, then yeah, in that case it's probably good. But in other cases, like you said, just having just a regular mic, that does regular recording, yeah, is also really good too. And also like a couple of sources. At DWeb, I recorded a bunch of stuff, but one of the neater things that I recorded was called Open Mic, and it is kind of like this talent show type of a deal at the end. And I had my condenser mic, which is this guy right here, and you can't see because I'm in pitch black for some reason, but this sits on top of the camera, and it was looking at the stage, from a distance. And then I had my like audio recorder, which is a Zoom, and it's got little mics built in on the top. You still can't see, but this was actually like right on the stage, like sitting behind these people, and like they both have slightly different sounds, and they both came out really good. And I like mixed them, like you said, like synced them, and then sort of adjusted the levels, and then just exported them. I didn't apply any noise reduction or anything like that, just to have the more natural sound. But yeah, you know, yeah, definitely like you said, you know, test your microphones, you know, like, you know, don't trust, you know, like what's going to come out. Like some of this was kind of a learning experience for me, but I did test out, you know, some of it like before I went. So I feel like I was maybe a little bit better prepared than if I just showed up and, you know, figured it out on the spot. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it is it's all a learning experience for us, and you're not going to learn unless you go out and put yourself in these environments, in these take these opportunities. So I think it's super cool that you did that, John. And you're like the point about noise reduction. There's a comment here in YouTube asking about live stream noise reduction makes more sense. The noise reduction in a microphone, you might want that on if you're live streaming because you can't do this post-processing. It depends. I would say maybe if you're live streaming from your phone, then and you have zero control over any other kind of noise reduction options, then maybe it would work better than nothing. But OBS has some good noise reduction filters built in. They have the same options that we recommend going through for Audacity. The Rodecaster has some input filters. I would imagine the Zoom recorder does as well. And this is the options to set an equalizer on the microphones, noise gate, which is the threshold for background noise removal. And this is where a lot of if you have an automatic noise gate in a device, then it's going to pick up background noise. And unless you're speaking close enough to the microphone and loud enough, it's going to think you're a part of the background noise. So that noise gate threshold is like your computer fan. And you would want, if you were doing it in OBS, for example, you would want to set the noise gate up so that you can't hear the computer fan, but you can hear your voice, or if you're talking quietly, you can still hear it. And then the compression compresses it takes your quiet tones and your quiet voice and your high volume. So when you're yelling into your microphone and you get really, really loud because you're excited, that it's going to take the loud part and make it quieter, and it's going to take the quiet part and make it louder. I don't know if there's any compression on my microphone or anywhere in our stack right now, so I may have just crushed your speakers, and I'm not sorry, because I'm giving an example. And so those three things, the equalizer, your noise gate, and your compression filter, are options in OBS. They're options in Rodecaster. I think it's in Zoom. I think Roosevelt was speaking, but you're frozen.
And Ryan, it always depends. Yeah.
Yeah, I see you now,
Hello,
Roosevelt.
hello. Now?
Yeah.
Test.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You internet.
You're good now.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks. I think again, always depend. With that question from Zero Darts, depend if you are broadcasting from a park, okay, or a concert. You have the crowd, the noise, and is natural, is normal. If you silence or filter all of that, I think this is an AI video. What are you talking about? I love the natural sounds, and that's even if you're a gamer, if you're in a room, maybe you need a good filter to avoid the noise and all the stuff that you say, Ryan. That depends. I think that depends on the event or the goals of your video, your transmission, your audio.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree. We were doing some of this background noise removal on our Berlin Blockchain Week events, like this Victortron video, which I have another example I can show. And you can notice in the clean version, we didn't put any background noise back into it. So it's so clean that when you're looking at a scene that's basically at a park next to the river with trees in the background and the wind is blowing and there's people talking, our brains look at it and think, wait, there's something wrong here because all of this stuff makes noise and you can't hear it. So here I have another example that I'll switch over to. And this is another 1.5 minute example. This is the original version. So we'll hear some background noise.
In the neighborhood, and there's a customer basically one neighbor is basically if you rotate the neighbors randomly, of course you can get an idea of how what's the average participation and if the
It's really interesting because you can almost hear the conversations in the background on this one, which brings up a privacy concern, right? Like think about this when you're recording in public environments and there's conversations happening around. If I can remove the background noise from a video, then I could isolate that. Any computer that can remove it can isolate it. And then you can actually do work on these background conversations and extract information from them. So there is a privacy leak potentially here with background noise. And if that's in your recording, then you already ruined the privacy of the people. So keep that in mind. Another good reason to use like a handheld microphone versus a lav microphone in these live environments, if you have background noise. So let's watch the clean version now. And I'll play the whole thing for you.
I'm in Africa in the neighborhood and there's a balance and basically and then one neighbor basically if you look at the neighbors randomly, of course you can get an idea of how much average participation and if there's undersupply, then we expect a 4 times the application in the neighborhood. And of course, you increase the price. If there's oversupply, then you decrease the price. And then since this mechanism simple response to supply and demand in a very clever way. And therefore, you guarantee the price to be always optimal. Anyway, because it's optimized. Well, the price doesn't change unless the exact 4 times of application. And since it's parent is the price, they basically upload and disappear. And also it says that whatever money you have on the postage stamp will just be there. Therefore, even if the price goes up, if you put some more on it, it's not gonna be wasted. It's not gonna be wasted if the price stays. But if the price goes down, then it's gonna be still preserved. And you don't have to then actually spend either speculating on the change or spend much more before you actually store the stats.
So this, you can see it's much clearer audio, but it is a little weird. It's kind of this uncanny valley that we see in AI or in early 3D, where you're looking at it, it seems his mouth is matching the stuff, but the words, but it doesn't fit the background setting at all. So maybe add some background noise back into it. What do you think, Roosevelt?
Yeah. So some kind of R2D2. It's like Zero Dark says, some natural noise, okay, a little bit is necessary, but a lot of filters doesn't sound good sometimes. That depends.
Yeah, it's just like with Instagram, or with early Photoshop. I remember having these early filter options and you just want to layer everything on. You want it all to look super cool because you can, and you can do that with your audio also, but you might take it too far. So we're going to add some background noise back into this interview with Victor, and then we'll get that released. And we had, it is all about what you need for the environment, what you have to use. We were lucky enough to have a whole bunch of different microphones and equipment and wires to try to experiment with our recording station. You might not have all of that. You might only have one microphone. So how do you make it work the best for you? And which microphone do you get if you don't have a microphone? I'm really curious if you're watching this, put into the chat in Discord or in YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube later, put it in the comments, like which microphones are you using right now that you're really excited about? What would you recommend as far as microphones and the recording device as well? Like, are you recording on your phone, or do you like Zoom recorders or the Rodecaster? I know that Robmar prefers the Rodecaster, and I really like mine. And those Zoom recorders are really cool. I haven't had a chance to play with them. But in the case of the Victor interview, he wasn't able to hold a microphone, so a handheld microphone wouldn't work because you have to hold it up to your mouth, like I said earlier. The lav microphones work really well because they don't move too far away from the speaker. I find it actually works better if you point it at the person's throat instead of like out in some other direction or even towards their mouth. If it's going towards their throat, it gets some of the resonation, some of the vibration from the throat, and you get a real nice sound. So a little hack there with a lav mic, point it up towards the throat, get it as close as you can without brushing on things. So we put 2 of those on Victor because he can't speak very loudly, and we got really good audio recorded on the Rodecaster. And we weren't live streaming. We weren't really technically live streaming. We were experimentally live streaming this. So it all worked out, and we were really, really grateful to get that interview and to have that conversation captured. What Victor was talking about in that last clip was the pricing mechanism on their live streaming, because the live streaming is decentralized live streaming, and it's this protocol built on top of Ethereum. And of course, the nodes that are restreaming, essentially, that are restreaming in the same way that like a CDN, a content delivery network like Amazon, they've got servers all over the place. And when you're streaming through one of their services, then they're streaming it from the closest server to you so that there's no delay. If I were streaming this like I am streaming right now from Berlin to Venezuela, where Ramar is pulling it in, it would be a lot more convenient if we had hops in between. Like it could get a lot closer, and especially the end viewer. By the time this gets to YouTube, there's quite a delay. But YouTube also has this content delivery network. So you have to, in a serverless system, users replace these nodes that serve the content. And in a decentralized serverless system, those nodes want to be paid. There's incentives that go along with it. LivePeer also deals with this. Filecoin also addresses this problem of incentivizing the network infrastructure. And what Victor was talking about there was how they incentivize the live streaming services in their network. So I'm really excited to start playing with Swarm a lot more, and we'll see. We'll have a chance to do that later in the year. So look for it. It's a really good one. So that's like all on location stuff. There's Audio Lab, which is worth mentioning. It's a mobile application for audio recording and editing. I've heard that it's really powerful. I haven't used it, but Roosevelt, do you have experience with Audio Lab? I think you recommended it to me.
I use a little, but Ryan, I am old school. I don't like to edit videos or audio in my mobile phone. I prefer to use my desktop. Okay, but I know that Audio Lab app is very powerful and use AI functions and have a lot of features with, for example, fading, musics, of music or sounds. Have a lot of function. I don't know if Aura wants to say something about Audio Lab, but I used some time ago. I think it's very powerful.
Yeah, I'm also old school. I use my desktop or my laptop for any of my editing and stuff. So like, but this is like why we're why we're here really, is to talk about Audacity. like we're talking about all of this recording and everything, but the open source part, the part that is really exciting, and the fact that an open source application is becoming the mainstream application that people are using because it's so good at especially the noise reduction is really amazing. So you can look on, because it's popular, you can look on YouTube or probably Odyssey, or you can ask a chatbot for instructions on how to use Audacity and some tips on how to use it. Definitely check out some videos on how to use it, and we will be having workshops on Audacity as well. Maybe you're going to lead one of the workshops on Audacity. You don't have to lead a ZK AV Club Foundry workshop. You don't have to be an expert in the thing that you're leading the workshop on. I think it's really cool when people put themselves into a project that they don't fully understand and as a way to play with it hands-on. And these workshops are interactive. So we're not asking you to create a walkthrough of it by just screen capturing. We want you to live stream your experience and your instructions to a team or to a community that can give feedback and even work with you on it. So if you're learning how to do this, I think that's even cooler. I think that's even better. This is what I did with the Internet Archive command line interface workshop. I had never used it before that day, and it was a lot of fun to kind of fumble through. Of course, it helps if you know how to use, if you know how to do audio, then it would be better if you're doing a workshop on this, if you have some understanding of audio. So if you do have experience with Audacity, let us know what that experience is like in the chat or in the comments. And in the agenda and the full details of this document that I linked to in YouTube and on Discord, there are some recommendations on different processes to do. And this is pretty typical way to run through. We have like noise reduction, normalizing, compression, your equalizer, the EQ, and then a limiter. These all have very specific functions. I'm not going to go into any of them for the sake of time, but I do want to mention that because like Audacity is open source, I keep talking about how great open source is, and maybe people don't understand why. Like we're the Zero Knowledge Audiovisual Club. We care about privacy, and when it comes to privacy, unless you're using open source software, there is no guarantee on your privacy. If nobody can read the code of the software you're using, then we have no like guarantee that your privacy isn't being completely destroyed with everything being stored on a server, shared with everyone. Great example that comes to mind is CapCut. CapCut recently put into their privacy policy that anything that you use their application to edit, they basically own that content. So if you're using CapCut and you're putting video in there, like even just to get the transcript, because it's really good at transcripts and captions. And I was doing this for a while, put the video into CapCut, have it create the transcript, take the transcript out. Don't even do anything with it beyond that. CapCut is now saying that they own that content. They can do what they want with it. They don't own the exclusive rights. We still own the rights, but it's really, really creepy. And if you're editing something on your computer and you don't expect others to be able to see it, share it, or use it, then that should upset you. The fact that they can and that they do. So open source software, they can't build these kinds of things into their software without other developers seeing it if people are looking at the code. So open source is very important, and we're going to keep repeating this.
Yeah, and not only software and the platforms to the online edit, it's very caution. One example is to the weak transfer. One example to the company access to the information and transfer in the platform, and the the privacy politic it's visible to the norm is we transfer can in your archive, in your information transfer to the my information. There is no peer-to-peer, peer, server, we transfer, government, and you. Not only software, is the platform is very cautious.
Yeah. WeTransfer is definitely like really, really shady in that role that they're playing there, and being able to use to access, read, use your content that you're just trying to send to a friend. That's really, really scary. And like today's session is about audio, and last week we talked about broadcasting, and next week we'll be talking about meeting platforms. And this is why we care about open source and peer-to-peer software, because this is the stuff that connects us. And if we want to be connected for real, then we need there to be nothing in between us. And we need to, like, it's about freedom. It's about dignity. So we're going to be experimenting with these, and file transfer will cover file transfer options, WeTransfer replacements, if you will, Google Drive replacements. We have decentralized self-hosted options. We have peer-to-peer options for file transfer. There's some really cool stuff happening in the file transfer space, and the decentralized file transfer space. In recent years, it's come a long way since BitTorrent, although we'll touch on BitTorrent as well. So that's in a few months. But this open source software, the open source requirement on software is very real, and we are trying to pull people over to the light side. So yeah, come with us, and you'll feel a lot more private. Dismad, what's up?
Hey, Ryan, I wanted to chime here. You brought up the theme of technology being how it's used, and I just want to like echo that. We're like advancing faster than ever with these new technologies, like for example, with AI. And I think it's important to like think about how technologies can be used for good things, and they can also be used for bad things. And if you think about those types of issues, privacy should come forefront to your mind. And I think that is why education is so important, because it gives people the choice to choose. If folks aren't aware of what's out there, and then in some sense they don't even have a choice, and I think that's wrong. So in that sense, I am very aligned with open source technologies, and I just wanted to share my thoughts with that.
Yeah, absolutely. When I think that freedom and privacy brought me to open source software, and it was that value of an understanding of this fact that like you can't have privacy without open source software when it comes to this.
Yeah. And the other tools to the open source editing audio to the cool. Audacity and the Ardour. Ardour is open source, is software very good to editing audio. And other, I see, I know word to this software is hydrogen. It's hydrogen, the hydrógeno. It's a tool, cool, to the editing audio, and the open source. Not only Audacity is very option to the open source and the software to the editing audio, video, image, and the to privacy, to security, is your responsibility.
And I'll just add to that, payments, private payments is also included in that too.
Yeah.
Excellent segue. Perfect. Yeah. So that, like, we can talk about Audacity and go into details, but this is what I want the workshops to do. This other software, we'll find some links for that, and we'll post options for other open source audio software. We'll add it to this document, and if you'll see that in the the Foundry number 7 overview document, there's a beginner-friendly Audacity workflow that's linked to CryptPad, and that is a very clear template for you to use that has some suggested settings for these different things like noise reduction, normalization, compression, and equalization, and the final loudness, which will actually get the volume of your videos to a consistent volume of other YouTube videos. YouTube does some stuff. They normalize the audio when you upload your video, and you can actually do some filter settings, some plugin settings to make sure that when your video gets onto YouTube, the audio is the same level as it should be, where it matches other YouTube videos, so that if someone's flipping through YouTube and they're listening to someone else's video and then they come to yours and yours is like way too quiet, then there's a chance that they'll just say like, screw that and swipe to the next one. So you want to make sure that your audio is up to the standards of the platform that you're putting it on, and just in general. So there's this beginner-friendly Audacity workflow that I threw together for you all. You can check that out in the agenda and outline document. And then, yeah, I'm interested if anyone is interested in leading a workshop on all of this, then please check out our workshops announcement, zkav.club/workshops, and is the English link. And there's a link at the bottom where you can apply to run a workshop, and audio production and post-production is an option under the topics. If you have an idea for a topic that is related to open source, audiovisual content creation, production, or post-production, there's an option in the application form to tell us what your idea is for that workshop. Otherwise, we're kind of looking for things that have to do with the topics that we've discussed. And today is a really great opportunity for people to play with Audacity, learn Audacity, teach it to your community, and get all of the audio in your video, get all that audio quality up for your entire community. It's a real big win, I think. We did this with ZecHub back at the beginning of ZKAV Club. I noticed that the audio in their videos was far too low. So we did a real quick workshop and it improved dramatically. So, speaking of ZecHub, and we were just talking about privacy, we were talking about the importance of privacy and open source software, and ZecHub, it comes from the Zcash community. It's part of the heart and soul of the Zcash community. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this session, our funding for ZKAV Club Foundry for this first year comes from the Zcash community grants. So we are a partner community with ZecHub. We're very proud to be working with them. And every session of Foundry since the last one for the rest of the year, we'll have a segment dedicated to ZecHub. So this month, Dismat is joining us and is going to give us an overview of like what is ZecHub and what is the Zcash Dashboard feature that they have and how does it all work. So Dismat, take it away.
All right, Ryan, thanks for inviting me here today, and appreciate the club for putting this on. I love the framing of freedom tools, for lack of a better word, in terms of open source. And like I said earlier, freedom tools can be used for good or for bad, but it is my belief that if education is open and available to everyone, more folks will choose good. And that's a driving force for me personally. And so I also want to point out, for those that may not know, ZecHub is funded completely by the Zcash Dev Fund, which in turn goes to ZCG, which in turn came to us. So this is an example of new technologies bettering the world in a way that doesn't get captured and benefits humanity. So I think that's amazing, and it just shows the beautiful idea that Zcash encompasses. So in sum, ZecHub is a community-driven hub for the Zcash ecosystem. And Zcash is a blockchain that uses zero-knowledge proofs to make private payments possible. It's real simple: digital private payments. It's so simple. I think a lot of folks overlook it, But as this discussion has been highlighting, we are definitely moving into an all digital world, whether we like it or not. So it's up to us to use the technologies as they are developed for protecting privacy at all costs. Because in my opinion, we can't lose that. Otherwise, we'll create a dystopia that I don't want to see happen. So Zcash is a tool, a freedom tool used for digital private payments. And the unit of account for the Zcash blockchain is ZEC. There are 21 million ZEC that'll ever be available in existence. And if some of these details are you're interested in learning more about those are the types of topics that ZecHub produces on our ZecHub wiki, which is available online for free. And I'm just really excited. I am a core contributor along with Squirrel and Vito. These guys have been working so hard lately, and I just can't say enough about how fun it is working with folks around the world. Like even in this chat today, we have folks from around the world that I wouldn't have been able to meet otherwise. Again, the theme of collaboration, education, for a good cause. It's just beautiful. So, one of the things that the ZecHub puts out for the community is a dashboard. And what this does is it displays data metrics about the Zcash blockchain. One of the critiques of Zcash was that it's too hard to use. No one understands the metrics. No one knows what the metrics are. So that problem I tackled personally because I'm really interested in data. And so what I do is I run a full node, a Zebra node, and I developed some scripts that will extract data that's freely available, by the way, but you have to learn how to access it and how to use it and present it in a way that makes sense and is easier to digest. Now, I couldn't have done this by myself, and I think this is the key point about ZecHub. I know how to run nodes, and I know how to manipulate data, because that's what I went to school for, but I don't know how to code a website, and I don't know how to code graphs. But what ZecHub, the genius with ZecHub is that utilizing similar ideas with the Zcash Dev Fund, we have a smaller scale bounty fund that we allow folks from around the world to earn shielded ZEC and help us develop this educational material. So if you go to our GitHub, we have JSON files of data, just tons and tons of data, but it's not easily digested. So from the help of a community, anonymous folks who I've never met helped create the graphs that we are seeing here. And what this is showing is the usage of the shielded pools of Zcash. So as time goes on, as you can see, the amount of shielded ZEC is going up. And there's 3 different colors to indicate the 3 different pools. So when Zcash was first developed, they had what's called a sprout pool, and then they developed a sapling pool, and then the newest iteration of this is the orchard pool, which does not have a trusted setup. This is the most secure option available today. And what I like about this the most is that, to my knowledge, centralized exchanges, which is how most people learn about blockchain for the first time, they do not support yet shielded Zcash. So what this graph is really showing is the amount of self-custodied wallets, which I think is amazing. Because the whole point of, at least from my perspective, of these blockchain technology is to not trust anyone and to be your own bank and to verify everything. And shielded Zcash gives you a way of not only holding your own keys, but if you want to use this technology for payments, which I believe we're going to have to as we move into the digital world, privacy is a must, and everything's already built in. So when the world wakes up and realizes their businesses are going to be digital, whether they like it or not, they're going to need privacy. Zcash is an option waiting to be tapped into. And I just think it's an amazing opportunity in that sense. So, okay, so how do I get this data? Let's go into this. So I am running on my laptop a Zebra node. And if you are interested in running a node, go to our YouTube. We have tutorials on how to do so. We also have a Discord where you can ask questions, and we're also available on Mastodon and the Zcash community forums. So as you can see, I have a full node running, and anyone can do this if you have an internet connection. And what I'm going to do is run a script, which I developed. Let's see, it's going to be called extract supply info. And what this will do is it'll download data from our GitHub, which is a JSON file. It'll extract the new data from the full node, and then it will add to the old JSON, the new data, and then re-upload that to our GitHub. And the way it's able to do that is through GitHub has what's called a token, an access token. And using Python, you can import and export files using this access token API. So I'll post this link for everyone to see. But essentially, you have this this token here. Everyone has the ability to create this token. You use this token to read and write and download and upload data to your GitHub. So the script will do that automatically in a semi-automatic way. And what I mean by that is I have to run the script. I don't always like running things fully automatic, so I prefer a semi-automatic where I run it, I turn it on, and it runs, and then it turns off. Let's see here. So here's how I do it. Downloading data, you run the Python download script, which will download the files that it needs. curl is just a curl wrapper. So using curl, which is an open source Linux, it's in every open source Linux distribution. You use the get blockchain info RPC, you use crep, and it strips out the data that I'm looking for. So in this case, I'm looking for the shielded supply numbers. And then we echo this out into a JSON format. And then at the very end, we're going to upload that data back to the GitHub. And the result is this. But again, I just want to emphasize that my specialty is not the display here. That is the work of other folks who have experience in other areas that we are tapping into thanks to the Shielded Bounty program. So yeah, Ryan, that's basically what I wanted to show. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to ask or answer.
Okay, so first of all, let's go to the URL. It's zechub.wiki, right? ZECHUB.wiki.
Yes.
Okay. And you have the dashboard there, which shows all of this really cool shielded pool information and all the stuff, the statistics for the Zcash network. What other kind of things can people find on the wiki?
Good question. So we have guides. So for example, if you want to run your own node, we have a Zcash 101 guide that outlines the process of how to do so.
Cool.
Let's see. We have information on many. We're trying to become the default community center for everything Zcash. So we have information on Arborist calls, community forum, Zcap. All the Zcons are conveniently in an area. We have a really cool wallet page. if you're learning, probably one of the first things you're going to want to do is get a wallet and use it, right? So go to pick a wallet, and you can learn about the most popular wallets, and you can narrow it down by the features you're looking for. So if you want Orchard, you can narrow it down by in mobile. So you can see that the available Orchard mobile wallets are here. And then there's also, if you're a developer and you're looking to contribute, we have a developer page specifically for you to learn how to develop it on Zcash. It is a lot to learn. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different things to become involved, and the overall theme for us is education and getting more folks knowledgeable so that they can help better the ecosystem and the skills that they already have.
Awesome. That's super cool. And you have this great bounty program, this very active bounty program that's constantly running, and you do hackathons as well. So a lot of ways for people to get involved and incentives to do so. Yeah.
So be on the lookout for a hackathon, and check us out. And I'm on X, Dismat8, and I'm also in the Discord. I'm on the community forums. So reach out if you have any questions, and yeah, let's make privacy normal, and let's keep open source alive, and let's learn how to use these freedom tools because they're important.
Hell yeah. Yeah, absolutely. They're very important, and this freedom technology is what's going to save us, I think. Well, our friends and communities will save us, but we have the help of these tools. So one of these tools, one of the ways that we want to share these tools and to empower you and incentivize you, the viewer of ZKAV Club, something we say is don't just watch. And there's a lot of ways you can interpret this depending on how you can get involved. And so one of the ways is that you can lead your own workshop. We've been talking about this. It's very similar to the bounty program that ZecHub is running. It's an opportunity for you to contribute to our information base and to learn from us and practice your own skills, teach those skills to your own community. So go to zkav.club/workshops, and you can see the announcements and the guidelines. We will be adjusting these slightly. This was what was announced earlier this week. And there's the direct reward of 200 euros paid in Zcash. This is coming from the Zcash Community Grant. There's a chunk of that specifically for community, and this is how we are starting that distribution. So if you want to lead a workshop having to do with the types of audiovisual skills and techniques and tools that we talk about on Foundry, then go to this page, and at the bottom there's an Apply Today button, which will take you to a form, and you can fill that out. I'm actually going to go into this right now to show. Let's see. Yeah, this will work. So in this form, we just go straight in. What's your name? I'll go with ZKAV Club, and you can put whatever you want in there, whatever you want us to call you. And then the very first or the next page is to enter a Zcash address. We're not asking for an email address. We're not asking for social network profiles. We're only asking for a Zcash address as a way to contact you, because Zcash has this encrypted memo field that can be used for messaging, and we use it a lot for messaging. Historically, ZKAV Club has used this for messaging for contests and for newsletter tests mostly. We don't have our own shielded newsletter yet, but this is something else that ZecHub has really pioneered the growth of, is this shielded newsletter. And we'll be using these new messaging applications on Zcash using this old encrypted memo field. It's been there since the beginning, and it does require a wallet, a Zcash wallet. So you can go to zechub.wiki/wallets to get a wallet if you don't have one already, and then you'll get an address and you put that in here. And you'll have to do this in order for us to contact you. You don't have to enter an actual address. You can get by just entering anything, but we won't be able to contact you unless you put it in there. So get the Zcash address, go to ZecHub to get a wallet if you don't have one. And then you see that you can do the workshop in any language that you want. And I recommend using the language that you're most proficient in, or that your community knows you for, that your community follows along in. We will be able to do automatic translation if required, if you would like. There are tools that we have experimented with and that we have taught that do live transcription of the content on the live stream and a translation, and then we can rebroadcast that translation along with your video, with your workshop, onto the ZK AV Club YouTube channel. So if you want that, you can let us know. And I'm not going to go through the rest of this, but you can see there's certain topics to choose from, and there's proposed something new. This does have to be open source software. We will make some exceptions in the case of if you're doing for example, if you're doing a workshop on a recording station, then you're going to want to have an audio interface, something like a Rodecaster or a Zoom recorder. These things are not open source. So there are cases where we make exceptions to this open source rule with our workshops, but the baseline rule is that you have to be working with, instructing how to use, and exploring open source software. With audio production, post-production, live streaming, any of with open source software. You can do a workshop on, you can teach your community how to do it. If you want help learning how to do it before you do your workshop, then get in touch with us and we can point you in the right direction. We can work together. And this is going to be really cool. This is going to be fun. And I'm excited to see who comes forward and asks to work with us on a workshop. We have almost 30 responses. I see 28 responses so far. I'm going to refresh this page. 29 responses now. Oh, because I just put one in. It was incomplete. I think we have about 11 complete responses. So we'll be adding more topics as we go. I'm going to be doing workshops not based on the categories that we have there. I'm going to be doing workshops that are adjacent to these topics. Things like how to do video encoding with VLC. Transcription alone is a really big topic. Transcribing a recorded video is different than transcribing a live stream. We've talked about how to transcribe live streams, but transcribing a recorded video, there's a lot of different options. There's a lot of different challenges. And we have a whole collection of content that was filmed during DWeb Camp in Brazil in 2023. And this is in Portuguese and Brazilian Portuguese, several different dialects in Spanish, and there are some interviews in English. So next month, I'm going to lead a workshop on various ways to do transcription on these recorded videos. And we can try it with different languages and see which models, which tools do the best with these different languages. It'll be a really cool experimental thing. I'm doing a lot of research and testing on that now. And then we'll also do a workshop on PeerTube later in the year, because PeerTube is going to be a major part of the ZK AV Club stack. And if you're not familiar with PeerTube, then you're going to want to join us later on for other sessions of Foundry. And we'll be covering that when we get to decentralized media storage, streaming, and sharing, which is the topic of our November session of Foundry. That would be number 10. And then we have a very special wrap-up, end-of-the-year wrap-up planned that I'm really not going to spoil anything on. But if you've been paying attention to Foundry, if you've been paying attention to me and the way that I work, I tend to do things big. I make really, really large plans and try to do it all with really experimental tools and this ragtag team of amateur experts. Like we're all here to have fun and play with this technology, and if it doesn't work perfectly, then that's totally fine, because we'll make it work for our needs, and we're troubleshooting this stuff, hopefully working with developers. I'm really excited to get to the end of this year, and even just to announce what we have planned, because it's going to be cool. It's gonna blow your socks off, as we say. So looking forward to that.
Awesome.
And yeah, the workshops are going to be a big part of this. So like, if you want to be involved in a ZK AV club, like watch Foundry. Doing a workshop is definitely a real important way that you can get involved. Like, this is real hands-on. We will be communicating, and it will lead to future opportunities. This isn't a one-off type of thing. We're trying to build relationships here. We're trying to build bridges between communities. So join us. If you are a leader of a community, if you're an organizer of a community, then reach out to us and we will work with you in promoting this opportunity to your community, because that's really a big deal. We can only reach so far alone, but when we all work together, we can extend these educational opportunities and the financial opportunities to our other communities and connected communities. It's very important.
Yeah, and there's no better way to learn too. That's, for me, that's just, there's no better way. Hands-on.
Cool. So like, we're right at about 90 minutes. We covered this topic very well, I think. As far as an introduction to it, you have this opportunity for these workshops. There's the Foundry #7 overview that has a whole bunch of different links, and it has the information about Audacity and how to do this post-production. So go through it with your content. You can even download this this video off of YouTube. There's ways to do that too that we've talked about. You can run that through this audio. But if you don't have your own recordings, there's definitely ways to get them and to play with this audio, and then you can do a workshop on it. So I have one more example that I want to show before we wrap this up, and I'll give everyone else a chance to give closing thoughts real quick. After, I'm going to play just a minute of this. So this video is a lightning talk from Funding the Commons Blockchain Week, and we had a recording station there. And they asked us if we could also record some lightning talks that they didn't have a crew to cover. So this is something the ZK AV Club specializes in and takes a real thrill from doing. This presentation is by Liz Steiniger, who's also a Zcasher, and her company, Least Authority, is the community security consultant auditor for Zcash. They're another Zcash community grants recipient, and I was really happy that we were able to capture this video. But as you'll see, we had some audio problems with recording all of the lightning talks, just because we didn't have access to the venue or the equipment or their team until the day of. So things can go wrong. You have to work with it. It's a good thing we weren't live streaming, but I'm going to play this now. This is the source recording.
So it's hard to follow a good presentation from the Tor project, but I actually mentioned them, so it's good. I want to talk about how autonomy is a really important part, and that people need autonomy and privacy. So, but this talk is a little bit longer, so I'll skip some slides.
Shouldn't take you very long to hear that buzz that's going on. And this is really frustrating when you're recording something, you're recording a talk, and there's some buzz going on that you can't get rid of. You can't do anything about it, and you definitely can't stop the person who's presenting. Like when you're recording at an event, you have to just kind of go with the flow as much as possible. And if the audio sounds horrible, then that's what you have. So luckily we weren't live streaming. It would have been a real nightmare had we been live streaming. I've been in that situation, but we were just recording. So we were able to do the Audacity process on this, and this is one that John did. And now I'll play a minute of this for you, and you can hear the difference.
Now I'll be quick. Yeah, so it's hard to follow a good presentation from the Tor project, but I actually mentioned them, so it's good. I want to talk about how autonomy is a really important part, and that people need autonomy and privacy. So, but this talk is a little bit longer, so I'll skip some slides and talk about what I think is important for today, so I can keep this talk a little bit shorter. So I think we all are here, to some degree we agree that privacy is the missing native feature in Web3. this is fundamental. We cannot give people the freedom and the rights that we have promised them in Web3 without actually having privacy being native and fundamentally embedded into our systems. So the vision that we have of this, like, you know, peer-to-peer value layer, this ability for people to exchange value, to use to control their identity, their data, all of this is, you know, all empowered by having privacy built into the systems. And at the moment, it seems like many of our systems that we've built in Web3, we're just going ahead and saying, okay, we're going to add the privacy features later, but these need to be embedded from the beginning. And autonomy without privacy is an illusion. So we make users think that they have freedom in these systems, but if they're not able to actually control their data and make like active choices about what they're doing with their data and their activities within the systems, then they aren't actually autonomous.
So as you can see, it makes a huge difference in with your audio if you do some real basic cleanup on it. John, you've used Audacity not for very long before doing this, so you found the process pretty easy, right? Like those videos were pretty destroyed. That audio was pretty messed up.
Yeah, I mean, overall, yeah, like a lot of that was just noise removal, and the process for actually like applying it, you know, is pretty straightforward. You just got to like find a portion of like silence, you know, in the audio that has, you know, your bad, you know, the background fizz or whatever, and then you do like a noise profile thing, and then you select the whole track, and then you apply the noise, you know, reduction with the profile. It's just kind of this two-step sort of a thing. I think maybe that throws people for a loop sometimes. They don't know like to find the piece of silence and get the noise profile, then select the whole or whatever section, whatever, you know, basically to apply all of the noise reduction. But you know, that's it for that, you know, and a lot of it is just that. Excuse me. I mean, some of it, like I said, you know, pops and people like to bang on the mic, you know, but for the Funding the Commons talk, it sounded like, you know, there was like a bad ground, you know, like that sounds like some kind of electrical noise, you know, from that or something like that. So a cable not plugged in correctly, but you know, in that case, I was able to apply, you know, this particular, you know, noise reduction because it's sort of consistent through the whole thing. She comes out a little bit robotic sounding, but you know, you can actually listen to it and understand it and not just have to, you know, like nonstop. That's you know, nobody wants to listen to that. So yeah, I mean, it was pretty easy. Like, yeah, I mean, overall experience still isn't like super high like before. I would just like record, you know, maybe already existing music or something that doesn't have, you know, noise, you know, only recently having to use microphones and then apply noise reduction or, you know, for something like that. So yeah, learning curve, not horrible, but the program, there are a ton of effects and options, and you know, like you would have to kind of look for guides if you wanted to do something maybe specific, you know, with noise or not noise, but like sound production, maybe messing with synthesizer, you know, like you want to, you know, all those effects, like you said, compression, echo, and yeah. But yeah, it's definitely the one that I choose and, you know, continue to choose because yeah, it's good and relatively easy for basic stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really excited that it's like so popular that here's a piece of open source software that's really popular. You can search for solutions if you have any questions, if you run into any issues, and it's easy to learn how to do the basic stuff. So what I have on my screen now is this beginner-friendly Audacity workflow that you can find the link to this in the YouTube description and in the chat. There's a link to the agenda and details. And inside of that is a link to this beginner-friendly Audacity workflow. And it runs through real basics. And this is the same in any kind of application, audio application. You export the WAV file from your video and then put it through these filters in Audacity. And it has like here the effect, noise reduction, get noise profile. And then you can you select the whole track and add the noise reduction in. There's some suggested settings here somewhere for you to start with, and then you can change to play with depending on your own needs. But here's some idea of settings on where you can start. Then coming down to de-essing, which is optional, and then limiting, this is the final step that will make sure that your audio matches the YouTube sort of standards and how to export it. Down at the bottom, there's a 101 key tools, and this just summarizes what was above basically. And then there's even a graphic, and this is all ChatGPT that I had create this, including the graphic. So it even suggested that we start, that we talk about this section with the graphic on a big slide. So there, it's got to make the machines happy before they destroy us. And I'll show the slide. So this is a really helpful document, I think, and there's other links that are helpful in this overview document that's linked. So check all of that out. We're at the end of the show now. I want to give our club participants here on this panel a chance to give some final thoughts. So Robmar, let's start with you. How do you have any final thoughts or pieces of advice for folks on audio?
Wow. Advice, concept, caution to the location, very important is backup to the audio. All backup possible, and the phone, and the laptop, and the recording Zoom, and the more backup is good. More backup. Yeah. And the one moment, please. Okay. Now, one moment. Okay. Yeah. Mientras más backup tengas, muchísimo mejor. Bueno, no, aquí en Video Ninja, en OBS, los muchachos no están viendo la pantalla. Voy a compartírselas, pero voy por acá. Ahora sí creo que le están compartiendo por allí. Consejo número 1, cuida tu ambiente, cuida el ruido alrededor de donde vas a grabar. Consejo número 2, no es necesario que tengas un micrófono de miles de dólares. Simplemente cuida que sea un micrófono, por supuesto, un micrófono que sea modesto, por no decirlo ni muy económico ni muy caro, que tenga su protección anti-puff, su protección anti-ruido. Siempre monitorea el audio, nunca lo dejes a la suerte. Siempre monitorear el audio. No estés confiado porque, como hemos dicho en diversas oportunidades, el exceso de confianza nos conlleva a cometer errores. Y por mucho que conozcamos la herramienta, por mucho que conozcamos nuestros equipos, por mucho que sepamos trabajar con lo que podamos trabajar, el exceso de confianza nos puede llevar a cometer errores. Entonces, siempre, como consejo, siempre monitorea tu audio. Otro consejo, utiliza herramientas open source que son gratuitas. Si no la entiendes, en muchas comunidades, y es más, de hecho, yo no sé si todas o casi todas vienen con soporte en varios idiomas, que tú puedes cambiarle el lenguaje de la interfaz, por eso no hay problema. Recomendaciones, software open source, Audacity. Audacity es fácil de trabajar cuando entiendes la psicología del proceso que vas a aplicarle a un audio. El ruido son frecuencias muy altas o muy bajas que están alrededor de la frecuencia principal que es tu voz. Si tú conoces cuáles son esas frecuencias, ya lo demás es simplemente saber hasta dónde las vas a reducir y cómo las vas a reducir. Consejos finales, muchachos: estudien, prepárense, investiguen, vean las sesiones del Foundry, váyanse a YouTube y háganse un chequeo de todas las sesiones del Foundry. Si no saben, escriban en YouTube, en Discord, en Signal, donde estamos presentes el ZCAV Club, que estamos prestos y estamos dispuestos a colaborar y ayudar en cualquier proyecto. De hecho, valga la cuña, hay actualmente una muchacha perteneciente a la comunidad de Zcash en español, que tiene su cápsula grabada en ZK Radio, en la única radio de un ecosistema cripto que tiene Zcash en este caso, y ella acudió a nosotros, la asesoramos, ella está haciendo las ediciones de sus cápsulas y están saliendo al aire por ZK Radio. Ella no es DJ profesional, ella no tiene un micrófono carísimo, ella no tiene equipos, y cuando tengan la oportunidad que se conecten a ZK Radio en cualquier momento, pueden escuchar las cápsulas que tienen allí publicadas. Aura tiene unas cápsulas, Edison tiene, que es conocido por todos en el ecosistema. Edison no tiene equipos profesionales, y si escuchan sus cápsulas son excelente audio. ¿Por qué? Porque él cuida dónde grabarlo, él se encierra en una habitación, evita tener ruidos externos, y él al principio él grababa sus cápsulas con el manos libres del teléfono y se escuchaba muy bien. Entonces no es necesario tener equipos de alto costo. De hecho, parte de los workshops que vamos a hacer con Roosevelt en la comunidad de Zcash en español, abiertos a toda la comunidad global de Zcash, van a ser en modalidades low cost, bajo costo, van a ser en modalidades modestas, y por supuesto a las personas que tengan la oportunidad de comprar su equipo. Así que consejo, Ryan, vean el Foundry, participen, pregunten y estudien.
Muchas gracias, Ramar. And in YouTube, you can see the translation stuff. This is using, forgot the name of it all of a sudden. Speech Logger. We're using Speech Logger to show the Spanish transcription and the English translation. And it's not perfect. It makes mistakes, but it does a really good job, I think, for our use case for live streaming. The live stream transcription, the subtitles of any non-English stream on YouTube doesn't provide this kind of service. So we kind of built it ourselves. Robmar did a lot of the work on that, and this is another workshop that you can do, is how to do this kind of live translation. So awesome, thank you. Great final words, Robmar, for our session. And Dismad, thank you for joining us from ZecHub. Do you have anything that you'd like to add on our way out here?
Just thanks for inviting us, and just for everyone to stay curious, and the freedom tools that are out there. Always question your assumptions. Is this hurting or helping my freedom? Are questions you should ask. And if you're interested in more education, there's no better place than right here at the ZCAV Club. So thanks again for inviting us.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us. Roosevelt, you have some last words for us on audio or ZKAV Club or Zcash or anything? I can't hear you. No. Yeah, wait.
Ew.
Nothing.
Mute. Oh, no.
No.
Problem today.
Interesting. This could be a video ninja. Oh, there we go. I see audio. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah,
You're good now. See.
I'm checking the setup, and all is okay with my mic. I don't know. This is a very, very powerful session. Thank you for this. Thank you, Dismat, for talk about ZecHub. John, you are very impressive guys to me. I'm really excited, Ryan, with the workshop because I think that from here to December we will see a lot of workshops about different tools, and I push the community members, the community leaders, to create more content for people learn, earn, and grow up Zcash. Go up, go ahead. I'm really excited.
Awesome. It's really great to have you on the team, Roosevelt. None of this would be happening without the support of the ZK AV Club Foundry team, Roosevelt and Radmar and Ora. And the workshops especially is a really heavy lift. And I think we have a good system set up, and we're just starting this, so it might be a bit of a messy process getting it going. But we're really looking forward to using Zcash for communication and for payments, and using all these open source tools to communicate and to create content and to share and broadcast and everything we do. So I want to mention real quick that we have the FOSS and P2P meeting platforms. This is essentially your replacement to Zoom, your replacement to like Microsoft and whatever their thing is called, and Google and whatever their thing is called. And like there's Jitsi is one example of this. We're using Video Ninja to produce this show, and I don't know if I'll recommend it as a meeting platform because it has a more powerful purpose in this production level. But there's things like Brave Talk, Free to Z, Discord. Discord's not open source, so even though we use it a lot, we probably won't talk about it much. But this is the next session for Foundry in September. And then we'll go on to how to produce your own virtual conference using FOSS and peer-to-peer tools. This is something that's in high demand. It has been in high demand since let's see, probably COVID with the pandemic. The thing that really put live streaming and these remote meetings and calls into overdrive. And since then, we've all been stuck with Zoom and these proprietary centralized platforms, and everyone's using it to create these virtual conferences. So we're going to fix that. We're going to dig into how to do it with open source and peer-to-peer tools. And then in November, we'll get into decentralized media, storage, streaming, and sharing. So decentralized file sharing, peer-to-peer file sharing. It's not just for pirates anymore. And then we'll do the end of the year wrap up. So the workshops is building up to this. And if you get involved now, then you can be involved in December with our really big stuff that we're planning. And we have a lot of other stuff happening. So get involved soon, get involved early, and in any way that you can and that you want to be. So John, last but not least, you want to send us off with your closing thoughts?
I mean, nothing really special to add. Just, just going back to what I was doing with the D-Web videos, extracting, the audio because of, reasons that I stated. The audio itself, is basically the saving grace, I'm not going to use the video, we need the audio because the core of the content is an actual conversation, in voice and, words and stuff. So, I mean, yeah, emphasis on that, shoot for quality. Don't freak out, if you can't get the greatest, because there are, tools out there that aren't, super hard to use. And yeah, we could talk about it for hours, dude. I love it, seriously. But yeah, be on the Discord and everywhere else, so yeah, definitely.
I love that. I think we might borrow this for one of the ZK AV Club taglines for the shirts and stuff. Don't freak out. I'm totally loving this, and of course we can add the freakazoid, which I know is a crew favorite. So don't freak out. Make sure your audio is as high quality as it can be before you even think about video. Your video can get totally screwed up in a lot of different ways. If you're thinking about live streaming, get the audio right first, then get the video right, then do the live streaming. Focus on getting good audio. people listen to podcasts, people just listen to videos a lot of times. And really like the content that we are making, these conversations, you don't necessarily need the video for it. And I am willing to bet that a lot of people will listen to this stuff while they're doing something else, whether it's cleaning the house or writing code. A lot of what we are creating this summer is geared towards the developer communities. And I know these communities, and I know that they will listen to these conversations while they're writing code, and it helps them to, hopefully, if it's good content, it helps them to inspire them and to give them new ideas and to think about things in a different perspective and come up with new solutions. So we're creating content for people to listen to first, and watching is really secondary. Get your audio right, do what you need to do in order to make that happen, and then focus on video, lights, and all of the other good stuff like live streaming. And if you have any questions about this stuff, reach out to us, zkav.club. You can get to our social profiles from there, and you can contact us to apply for a workshop, even if you're not an expert. Like the Zero Knowledge Audio Visual Club, the name implies this beginner-friendly angle. So don't freak out. Come join us, and yeah, let's make some good content together and learn and help each other learn. Thank you very much, everyone. That is Foundry number 7. I look forward to seeing you next month. September 19th, I think, is the date, and we'll be talking about meeting platforms and things. So until then, hasta luego.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
See you.
Bye, 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 bye.